Paint trim splatters and runs, revealing a series of images.
Hi, welcome to Unsightly Opinions. My name is Tamara. Today we are going to be putting OrCam and Envision to the test. Which blind smart glasses are going to come out on top? I have a number of different challenges set up. We are going to test out their color detection, their currency detection, their object detection, their reading, and their overall performance. So without any further preamble, let's dive straight in. Starting with some general specs, the OrCam weighs 22.5 grams and the Envision weighs over 50. It was a little bit unclear as to whether the camera apparatus weighs 50 grams or the entire structure with the frame weighs 50 grams. The OrCam claims a 1.5 to 2 hour battery life, and Envision claims a 5 to 6 hour battery life with regular use. OrCam has a 13 megapixel camera, and Envision has an 8 megapixel camera. OrCam uses a micro USB for its charger, and Envision uses a USB Type-C. The OrCam will charge fully in 40 minutes, and the Envision will fast charge to 50% in 30 minutes. Pricing at the time of filming for OrCam is $5,800, and pricing for Envision is $4,500. Both devices offer some shared features: text recognition and speech-to-text, currency detection, color detection, facial recognition, online and offline use, connect to external speakers or headphones, and multiple language options. Features unique to Envision are IRA and Ally calling, the ability to read handwriting, more complete object recognition, a light detector, scene description. It also has an accompanying app that offers many of the same features available on the glasses for your phone. Features unique to OrCam are the use of hand gestures like pointing to read or raising your hand to stop reading. It has more fully featured voice commands, smart reading capability to find information that you would want to in a piece of text, a barcode reader, the ability to teach it new products. Let's start with color accuracy. I have a variety of different colored pieces of paper and clothing articles for each device to test.
Envision.
Light coral.
Pink, I'd say, but you could call it a light
Black.
coral.
Gray.
Blue.
Here's the final one.
Chocolate. Dark khaki.
Yellow.
Here are some clothing items.
Gray.
Purple.
Dark green.
That's green.
Brown.
It's maroon.
OrCam.
Pink red area,
Pink.
blue turquoise area,
Call that baby powder blue.
orange yellow area,
That is yellow.
dark purple brown area,
It's maroon.
purple violet area,
Purple.
green area.
Yep, green.
How about product identification?
Envision.
Sans gnome. No name sans. Bay leaves. Foils de o. Simple.
Check.
SAT. CALCMCACRCEL.
Let me try rotating slightly.
Unico. B. Black. Core. Unico. Biang. Black B.
Okay, I'm gonna give it this one.
Good. Thins. Gluten free. Made with rice. Multigrain. G. Per 199. 80. BERIFED Bay Rye. 100 G. Rice and millet crackers.
I think it did brilliant on that one.
No
OrCam.
name sans nom, bay leaves foils de law.
Yep.
Ingredients: black beans, water, salt, calcium chloride, rinse before.
So that'll be black beans. Final thing.
À base de riz, multigras. Skipped one line of unreadable text. Pour in. Skip 2 lines of unreadable text.
I think I'm on the French side. Let's try this.
Gluten-free sans gluten. No. Good. H&S. Virgo certified.
It did not do a good job on this one. It did read part of the French side, but it didn't get the whole label. It said good, and then I think IN or something. But let's see if it does any better with QR code. Hey OrCam, QR code.
Crispy good thins multigrain rice crackers.
Great. Next, let's test its currency detection.
Envision.
Searching for British pound.
Okay, so is this the right one though?
10 British pounds.
5.
Searching for euro. 5 euro.
Good,
Searching for Canadian dollar. 20 Canadian dollars.
good.
OrCam.
€5. 20 Canadian dollars.
Yes.
5,000 Colombian pesos.
5 British pounds.
Wrong.
Editing Tamara popping in to say that a comment on a previous video mentioned that I have the older style UK bills, not the new plastic style, so that may be the cause for the errors with both glasses.
Can either device read handwriting?
Envision.
Literally 12 seconds of processing later.
Reader. 11. Heading. This is print written with Sharpie marker.
That's what I wrote.
That's right.
Reader, W, at least I, can spell.
Hey, got that one right.
Well done.
Reader, can smart glasses. Read print written with pencil.
Well,
Reader, this is cursive, writing with pencil.
wow. I was not expecting it to do that.
OrCam.
Can't read text. The text seems upside down. To read it, rotate the page and try again.
Okay, that's going to be a nope on that.
The text seems upside down.
The text seems upside down.
The text seems upside down. To read it, rotate the page and try again. This is Pretvortrin Voith Sharpie marker.
Okay, got some of that. This is prior video with Sharpie marker. How good is it at locating objects?
Envision.
So we can identify a chair. No chairs over here. If I turn all the way around, there should be some chairs. It found it.
OrCam.
Hey, OrCam. What's in front of me?
A rounded container to the right.
It did clock that this was actually here, but it kept saying that it was to the right, and I believe I was looking fairly straight at it. Now, let's try some text identification.
Envision.
It's telling me it sees a lot of text, so let's see. I'm going to take a photo.
Tristan had been frantically salvaging and washing suture materials, and soon the incision in the rumen was stitched. Siegfried's heroic stand had not been in vain. There was no contamination of the peritoneum. Silently and neatly, he secured the skin and muscles with reddened tion sutures and swabbed round the wound.
It seemed to do pretty well.
Upon further inspection, it did not do a good job. This was the fourth attempt to get Envision to read this page of text, and no matter where it was placed, it would not capture the top and would not read hyphenated words. So it does not get a point.
OrCam.
Has come to your aid. With anybody else this bloomer would be catastrophic, but with Cranford it's like divine providence. He paused for a moment and a dreamy expression crept into his eyes. The label said to work it well in with the fingers. I seem to recall. And Mr. Cranford says he opened the package at the breakfast table. ... Yes, Tristan, I think you have found a way. This, I do believe, has done it, I said. But how about legal action? Oh, I think we can forget about that. Mr. Cranford has a great sense of his own dignity. Just think how it would sound in court.
I think it read that flawlessly.
Envision.
Let's give it something a little more complicated, shall we? This is a physiology textbook.
Predominantly intracellular sites effuse freely through the cell membrane. They bind to a family of largely cytoplasmic proteins known as nuclear receptors. Upon ligand binding, the receptor-ligand complex translocates to the nucleus where it either homodimerizes or associates with a distinct liganded nuclear receptor to form a heterodimer. In either case, the dimer binds to DNA to either increase or. Machinery is activated when the cell type the and stores the hormone in question is activated by the secretion of many hormones is via a process signal, such as a neurotransmitter or peptide of stored granules, as discussed in Chapter 2. The TOR. One should, however, contrast the secret hormones with that of those that are continually diffusion, e.g., steroids.
After reviewing the footage, Robbie noticed that it was jumping all over the page non-sequentially, up, down, to the right column, to the left column. So despite the fact it was reading words and it seemed to be sequential, it was not doing a good job. It does not get a point.
CM, NH, HU, Nanying EE, Hying E, Inges, Secretion, Aya.
That's complete gibberish. Complicated medical text.
OrCam.
Figure 10 to the medial view of the middle ear containing S auditory ossicles malleus, incus, and stapes, and two small asmalti muscles, tensor tympani muscle and stapes. The sphygmic membrane, its head, is attached to the wall of the middle. Skipped one line of unreadable text. Urines around the bases of the hair cells are located in the spiral ganglion within the modilus, the bony core around which the cochlea is wound. 90 to 95% of these sensory neurons innervate the inner hair cells. Only 5 to 10% innervates the more numerous outer hair cells, and each sensory neuron.
I think it was doing a relatively good job reading that.
Envision.
Let's try this bill.
Your plan is up for renewal. Hi Tamara, I want to thank you for being a loyal NMAX Energy customer and would like to take this moment to remind you that your EasyMax plan is expiring soon, 2022. When your plan expires, S4.09 GJ. 1 year fixed natural gas on Jan 27, 2022. New rate plan, 8.49 kW8. Instant text.
It did pretty well there, I'd say. I'll give it a point for that.
OrCam.
Your plan is up for renewal. Hi Tamara, I want to thank you for being a loyal InMax Energy customer and would like to take this moment to remind you that your Easy Max plan is expiring soon. When your plan expires, you will automatically move to our 5-year fixed rate plan, which is currently our lowest posted fixed rate plan. With Easy Max, you are never locked in and can change your plan monthly by law.
I'm going to smart read with this. I want it to tell me the phone numbers. Smart reading.
Note that there may be more text below. Ready.
Read phone numbers.
Found 2 phone numbers. First result, online account, inmax.com/sign-in, or by calling 3108010. Second result, CA or call 3104822, toll free.
I believe it got phone numbers. Here is the next test, a piece of paper in varying sized fonts all the way from 72 point down to 4 point. So let's see how far down the page it can get.
Envision.
Reader. Heading. This is a test. Heading. To see what size. Heading. Font each smart device can read before it starts running. Into trouble. Printed information comes in many different sizes even on the same packaging. And for many people with vision loss like myself, there would be no way to know if you are missing information because the font is getting too small for the camera to accurately read. However, most sighted people can still comfortably read font at this size for things like ingredients and nutrition facts. This could be incredibly important if you are wanting to balance your nutrition or if you have allergies, but oftentimes this information is so small that it is legible to any accessible reading device. I will be very impressed either device can react print this if this print the small in anything they are by trying to
It did pretty well down to the last line. However, let's do instant text.
However, most sighted people can still comfortably mad font at this size for things like ingredients and nutrition facts then could be incredibly important if you eat.
Okay, it's struggling a lot sooner.
This is a
OrCam.
test to see what size font each smart device can read before it starts running. Into trouble. Printed information comes in many different sizes even on the same packaging. And for many people with vision loss like myself, there would be no way to know if you are missing information because the font is getting too small for the camera to accurately read. However, most sighted people can still comfortably read font at this size for things like ingredients and nutrition facts. This could be incredibly important if you are wanting to balance your nutrition or if you have allergies. But oftentimes iris information is so small that it is legible to any accessible reading device. I will be very impressed. 72, 62, 42, 32, 2014, 1210, 86.
It got through the entire page with minimal to no errors. I am very impressed with that. Let's go back into the other room and give you my final thoughts and tally up Envision versus OrCam.
Final score, 16.5 for OrCam and 14 for Envision.
After extensive testing both on and off camera, I have a lot of thoughts about each device. Let's start with the pros for Envision. The longer battery life is appreciated because if you are trying to use a device as a substitute for visual information, you are going to want to use it for most of the day, not for 1 or 2 hours and have to plug it in constantly. I really like the ability to call someone and be able to ask for help and have them see what you are looking at. I think that's fantastic and has a lot of functionality. I also like its object recognition capabilities. Being able to identify items in your space, like where chairs are located, doors are located, it can be a real help to not only navigate safely, but stay oriented. Being able to recognize handwriting is really fabulous. It's a complicated thing because everyone has very individual writing styles, but I was very impressed that it could recognize different types of handwriting, even messy handwriting. I also like that it is positioned more than $1,000 cheaper than its competition. While I think both devices are overpriced, the more economical the price point, the happier I am going to be. Now for the cons for Envision. Right off the bat, the frames bothered me. They did not fit my face well, they were flopping around, I was constantly having to use my hand to try and adjust it. It just didn't work for me. I feel that Envision is limited in the fact that it is using Google Glass as its framework and using its proprietary software for its own purposes. I don't know that it is necessarily worth what you're paying. I do find the price point to be high for what it is capable of doing. I found the camera to be very finicky. It was difficult to perfectly orient a document in the camera lens, and it didn't really tell me when it could see the document borders, which I found to be very frustrating sometimes because I'd have to take 2, 3, 5 pictures before I had it oriented correctly. And even with a lot of fiddling, I never got it all the way right. I also find it complicated when it comes to processing time. OrCam is really snappy. You get the information right away, so if you didn't do it right, you can do it again. With Envision, you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and it becomes frustrating because the processing time is so slow. Not only that, but because you are severely limited in what it can interpret when you're offline, you don't necessarily want to be eating through your data plan every month to use your Envision glasses. The instant text was not as reliable as I would have hoped. It read more gibberish than it read realistic English. And I also found it more complicated to find wanted information. If I was looking for an amount, a quantity, I could never be 100% sure if I was in the right place in the document. I found the menus a lot more complicated to navigate through. When you've got multiple layers of menus that you have to get through before you can access what you want, it makes it complicated. Yes, you can pick your favorites and put them in using the app, but still, it is a barrier when you want to access the information quickly. Lots of strengths and lots of areas for improvement with that device. Now, let's talk about OrCam. I loved that you could mount it to anything. That is definitely a must in my books to make it more universally accessible. It really shines when you can make it tailored for your own needs, and that's what OrCam did. Not only that, but they gave you multiple mounting options, so you can mount its bracket on a number of different pairs of glasses. You can change it with the fashion or change it as your glasses wear out without the need to go and buy more components. I loved this smart reading, pointing, and gesturing. It really makes it a lot easier to access the information you want quickly and efficiently. We live in a world of efficiency, so anything that speeds up that access to information, anything that comparably works like scanning a page visually and finding the information you want is really amazing. The voice commands made it very easy to move through the menus and access what I needed to. However, you don't necessarily always want to speak out loud when you're using a device because you're in a quiet area, so it can be a positive and a negative. The better camera showed. When it came to text recognition, when it came to text-to-speech, when it came to processing time, the OrCam really won out. While it may have looked comparable in the brief test we did trying to make it read small font, when it came to larger picture things, reading complicated texts, reading things with more formatting, OrCam definitely won out every single time. Now let's talk the cons for OrCam. The battery life is not great. I wish that it were more, and I know that there are significant limitations because of its size. Something that I'm hoping that they can improve on in the next version is giving you at least a 4 or 6 hour battery life. That's what you're going to want going through your day, going to work, going out to an event. You want more than a couple of hours of use. I don't know that it is worth the cost. I'm not convinced that it is so significantly better than free applications like Microsoft's Seeing AI that it warrants a $5,800 price tag. Even when it's rebated down $500 or even $1,000, I really find it difficult to justify. I really wish the OrCam could connect to your smartphone, could make calls from your smartphone, could use the camera to show people what you are doing. It was truly the shining piece in Envision's hardware to be able to make those kinds of calls, and if there's a way to make OrCam do that and possibly convince me that the price tag would be worth it, because that is a feature that I would use a lot. And the final con is that its object identification was not strong. It really struggled. It really didn't do well, and it wasn't reliable. So I'm not sure why this feature was released. I tried it in multiple different situations, multiple different settings, and I was not able to get an accurate read out of it. So I think there's definitely room for improvement there. And if they can implement more object recognition like Envision has, again, it's just going to make the product even better and more functional for its users. So now let's talk about accuracy and ease of use. OrCam was more accurate when it came to text and reading-based activities. Envision was more accurate when it came to object identification. The speed you were able to access information, OrCam won out every single time. And in terms of ease of use, I have to give it to OrCam as well. Having multiple layers of menus, having an app, it's not accessible to everyone. And again, it slows you down when you're swiping through things to try and find what you're going to be looking for. Those menus really bog down the experience for me. And finally, I did not show this in the video, but the Envision glasses froze a number of times. They restarted a number of times, and it was generally a lot more buggy an experience than using OrCam. My overall recommendation, OrCam versus Envision. I'm going to say neither. If Envision and OrCam had a baby, it would be the perfect device for a blind user, and I would agree to pay $4,000 or $5,000 for that product. However, I don't think either device is at a point where it's going to be fully featured enough and really make a tremendous difference. If someone is able to use a smartphone independently, it's going to have most of those features available for free through a variety of apps like Microsoft Seeing AI. So while I am excited to see this technology exist, I think it's in its infancy and it's just on the cusp of becoming fully featured enough to really make a difference for people who might be using it. And I don't want to knock OrCam or Envision. I think they're both doing wonderful things for the blind community, but neither device is in a place where I would be, as a consumer, happy to purchase it. And I think that ends what I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your experiences with OrCam and Envision. Do you use either or both? Has it made a tremendous difference in your life? I try to make unbiased reviews so that you can make an educated decision as a consumer. If you are looking to test out Envision and OrCam, both have demo programs. You need to check with your local blind organization or call them directly, and you can see if it's the right device for your life. This entire video was not sponsored and in no way affiliated with either company. I took it upon myself to make it happen so hopefully you can take my 2 cents as what they are, 2 cents, and make your own decision. I hope you enjoyed this video. The more opinions we can leave down below, the more it's going to help people make educated decisions on which one is right for them. If you like content like this and you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, leave comments, or engage on any of my other social media accounts linked in the description. I'll see you in the next one.